This is a graph of ball screen usage and efficiency from last year, the 2022-23 season. The horizontal axis is the number of ball screens each team used per game. The vertical axis is how many points per possession each team scored on those screens. Purdue last season only used about 15 ball screens per game, ranking 321st in the country. This season, Purdue is using about 21 per game, and they're scoring over 1 point per ball screen. That efficiency is largely thanks to point guard Braden Smith. Smith is averaging 7 points per game as the handler in ball screen situations, which ranks him top 25 in the country. So now when game planning for Purdue, you don't just have to decide how to guard Edey in the post, you also have to decide how you're going to guard those ball screens. For Marquette, they chose to do something opponents rarely do against the Boilermakers. They switched the ball screen. Theoretically, the problem with that is you wind up with a small guard trying to defend Zach Edey in the post. Here you can see Edey gets the mismatch on Chase Ross and just buries him underneath the basket. But that was really the only time that happened for Edey with the switch, mostly because of how much help Marquette sent to him. Here Edey again has the mismatch, but Cam Jones is in position to double team and contest the right hook shot. Despite getting behind by double digits in the first half, Marquette's post doubles did make Edey uncomfortable. The big man had 5 turnovers in the half. He only had 6 turnovers in his first 5 games of the season combined. Marquette varied the timing on their post traps and generated steals. However, Edey still had a big impact early on even when not scoring. With the mismatch inside, here Edey forces Tyler Kolek to shade towards him. That opens up the skip pass for Fletcher Loyer to attack Kolek's closeout. Then Stevie Mitchell is late on the help because he's busy battling Edey. Again, Mitchell is on Edey, and this time David Joplin gravitates towards the mismatch, leaving Trey Coffin-Wren open for the 3. On this play, Kolek switches onto Edey and tries to front the post. Ben Gold comes up from behind and tries to bump Kolek out of there and switch onto Edey himself. But that leaves him out of position, getting buried in the paint and leading to a foul. And here Edey takes advantage of the switch on the offensive glass, where Mitchell is unable to box out. In the second half, Shaka Smart made an adjustment by hedging screens instead of switching. Marquette created 2 steals off of the hedges that led to run-out buckets on the other end. By hedging and then recovering, the Golden Eagles were able to keep Oso Ighodaro on Edey for much of the second half instead of getting smaller players switched onto him. However, it felt like Ighodaro was somewhat limited defensively because he was in foul trouble. He was unable to be as physical with Edey for fear of picking up another foul and getting relegated back to the bench. Here Edey sets the screen way out past half court and then gets a running start as he rolls into the paint and ducks in Ighodaro. On this one, you can see Ighodaro going straight up to avoid the foul, just getting overpowered at the basket. But Edey also just simply made some tough shots. Here, Ighodaro does a good job of making him catch the ball away from the basket nearly at the elbow. Kolek then gets in good position for the double team, but Edey simply just makes a really tough hook going through both of them. To end the video, I have one play that's a perfect illustration of the cat and mouse game between Edey and Marquette. On the entry into the post, Ross tries to sneak up from behind and steal the ball. Edey bobbles it but is able to retain possession. Now it's Kolek who's the one who's trying to dig down onto the ball. Mason Gillis makes a cut to the basket, but Edey doesn't see him for what would have been a tight pass. That cut clears out Kolek, so now it's Cam Jones's turn to dig down onto the post. That's 3 different players that have been drawn towards Edey in a matter of seconds. The ball gets kicked out and Ighodaro probably breathes a sigh of relief, only for Loyer to immediately enter the ball right back into the post. This time with the big fella just overpowering his man for a dunk at the basket. It's one of many examples of why Edey is so hard to guard and why the Boilermakers came out on top at the Maui Invitational.